Hari Om, Hari Om to all of you. I'm traveling, so bear with me, but this recording is meant for all of you. And we are in the sixth chapter of the sixth canto, or six, and the first verse. So this chapter, as you can see the title, it is Daksha Prajapati ki Saath Kanya Oom ke Vamsh ka Vivaran. So Daksha Prajapati, the Prajapati means the one who has been given the responsibility of making the creation expand with more people, more men and women, more other beings also, more plants, and what all is required for the harmony of the creation. Daksha is given that responsibility by his own father, Brahmaji, and we have seen so far that the responsibility which Daksha wants to fulfill, he was trying by having so many sons, and he found out that almost more than 2,000 of his sons, they've all taken up to a lifestyle of renunciation with the guidance of Sage Narada or with the blessings of Sage Narada. Nothing can happen without the blessings of Mahatma and the Sankalpa of Ishvara. So that is how Daksha is supposed to take, but he's ending up cursing Narada for taking his children away. He didn't take them away. They had that inclination, they had that preparation, they want to make themselves available for that, and that is how it all happened. Now, of course, you can imagine Daksha Prajapati was a little dejected, disappointed, helpless, and hopeless what to do. He even want to give up his position. So then what happened? Let us see. Sri Shuka Uvacha Tata Prajapati Prachetaso Signyam Anunita Swayambhuva Sashtim Sanjanayamasa Duhitra Pitrivatsalaha. Brahmaji consoled Daksha Prajapati and told him, hey, Daksha, don't give up. You have a very great family. Now that you have produced so much children who are in the path of renunciation, that means they're all become great gurus of so much knowledge, and the whole creation would be benefited by their self-knowledge. So don't worry about that. See how Brahmaji is so objective, because he has the vision, he knows the future, or he has the experience also. So then upon conviction by Brahmaji, Daksha Prajapati gave birth to 60 daughters. And those daughters were so loving. He made sure that he took care of them, so they're so loving towards him and going to listen to him for his big mission, ambition. At this point, his ambition was turning into a little bit of frustration. And with his daughters, he wants to reimagine what the creation has to be, and he wants to accomplish his ambition. And it's a nice idea, because if you have sons, then he saw that they're all going to lifestyle renunciation. In those days, it was very common for the men folks, whereas women folks were mostly with the family, bringing up the family, homemakers. They cannot afford to go, and then it's also not very safe for them. They had their own reasons. So that way also, Daksha's idea was to have daughters, so there won't be any such unexpected twists and turns in the life. Because if the daughters are taken away by these sadhus, then the sadhus will be, looked upon very suspiciously. They'll have to be very careful from not getting all the bad names. And these women folks also who are in ashrams and all those, they also try to be very careful not to bring anybody, not to bring taint on anybody's reputation. Uh, like that, they're very careful. So both ways, it'll help from them not going away with towards the lifestyle renunciation. So daughters are always better. Dasha dharmaya kayendoho द्विंशत्रिणवदतवान् भूताङ्गिरसः कुशाश्वेभ्यः द्वं द्वे तार्क्ष्याय चापरः. 10 daughters he married, he gave in marriage to Dharma, Yama Dharmaraja, Yama. Then, and to Kaya and Indu. Indu means moon. 27 daughters were married to the moon, and 13 were given to Kashyapa Rishi. Bhutangirasa is another Rishi. Krishashva is another Rishi. Bhuta is one Rishi, Angirasa is one Rishi, Krisha is another Rishi. For each of those Rishis, he gave 2 daughters in marriage. And then remaining, let us calculate, all right? If you gave birth to 60 daughters, 10 daughters gone to Dharma, Yamadharma, how many remaining? 50. 27 gone to Chandrama and 13 given in wedding to Kashyapa. 27 plus 13, 40. So 40 and then 10 was given to Dharma. So 50 daughters were given this way. And then take these 3 rishis, Bhuta, Angirasa, and Kushashva. For those 3, 2 daughters each in wedding. So that is 6. So remaining 4 are there. So when this Kashyapa took the name and form called Tarkshya, he was given those 4 daughters. So totally 60, all 60 were happily given in marriage. So how happy, how fulfilling it should be for the father that he could accomplish that so easily after having failed with his sons. नामधेयान्यभूषान् त्वं सापत्न्यानां च मे शृणु यासां प्रसूतिप्रसवैः लोका आपुरिताश्रयः. May you all listen to the names of all these wives and their children because they are the very first in the creation. Only after them we all came, which means what? You can see that your own ancestor is one amongst them. Your own great grandmother is one of them. So that way it's good to know all their names, just to listen to all their names, and then the connection will be made. The names and then you today, here and now, and you just take the name and the connection is made. Because our Hindu religion, we have 2 tracks of worship. One is Devata Aradhana, worship of all the deities, devatas, at home, shrine, temple, yagashala. And then the other track of worship is ancestral worship, Pitru Aradhana. So if you want to know the significance, if you go on the eastern part of the world, they're all into Pitru Aradhana, ancestral worship. Why? Because you can see that they will go somewhere and light some candle or incenses, and then they say, they without no form, nothing, but they think of the ancestors and worship. Whereas in the eastern part or western part of the world, that was in the eastern part, ancestral worship. Western part of the world where you all live, they all say what? Oh Lord Almighty in heaven, Father in heaven, and all that. They only want to worship the Lord Almighty as Almighty and as all powerful and all merciful and all that. They have no time for any ancestral worship. They don't believe in that. But here come to India, come to Hindus, they have not only both the tracks, but they are well maintained in the form of rituals. So many forms we have, tarpana, that and this and all that. So why I'm saying all this? Because the rest of the section which I'm going to read, it's all a lot of names. But those names are just good to listen. Not only that, it will give you a lot of punya, but also it's so innovative. These names, some of them, they all have a lot of meaning also. So if you are thinking of, finding new names, or if someone wants to find new names, come to this chapter, sixth chapter of the sixth canto. So many names. Of course, a lot of places we have seen such sections where they describe the hierarchy, describe the lineage. Even if you take this Old Testament and all that, they start with the lineage, Solomon, Abraham, that. It's so long. You will think that you're going to read some verses and find some meaning, but first they'll talk about the lineage, and to the point that you will just want it to end, and then the next section to start. So, but here are the names which you can recognize. Bhanuhu. So first for Yama, 10 wives of Yama. Who are they? Bhanuhu, Lamba, Kakubha, Jami, Vishwa. So let's come on. Okay, 10 wives. Bhanu, Lamba, Kakubha, Jami, Vishwa, Sadhya, Marutvati, Vasuhu, Muhurta, Sankalpa, 10. Dharma Patnyah, Sutan Shrunu. So now you listen to the names of their children. Bhanostu Dev Rishabha, Indrasenasthato Nrupa, Vidyota Asil Lambhaya, Tatascha Stanayitnavaha. Bhanu and Yama, Bhanu and Yama gave birth to Devarishabha, and Devarishabha gave birth to Indrasena. All these are great names, Indrasena. Vidyota Asi Lambha. For Lambha, with Yama Dharmaraja, the child was Vidyota. And Vidyota's son is Tanayit. Vidyota is like lightning kind of name. And Stanayitnavaha is the name of the son of Vidyota, which actually means the overlord of clouds. Kaguva Sankatastasya, because all these names cover all the different aspects of your life also, rain and lightning and clouds and what all you need for the creation to prosper. And that was the job of Daksha Prajapati, not just giving birth to people, but all that is required in the form of these entities who are also in our religion very much enlivened by the same Paramatma like you and me. Kaguva Sankatastasya Kikatastanayo Yatah Bhuvo Durgani Jameyah Swargo Nandistato Bhavat. Visa Kagubaha was the next wife. Sankataha was her son. And Tasya Kikataha, Sankata's son was Kikata. Funny names, huh? These names don't give, they look very funny. Kikata, Tanayo Yataha, Bhuvaha, okay. Durgani, Jameyah, Swargaha, Nandistato Abhavat. So Kikata's son was the one who was the lord of all the fortress. And then Jami we saw, another wife. She gave birth to a son called Swarga. And Swarga gave birth to Nandi, another son called Nandi. Vishve devastu vishvaya aprajanstan prachakshate sadhyo ganastu sadhyaya arthasiddhistu tatsutah. Vishwadeva was the son of Vishwa. One wife of Dharma was called Vishwa. Her son was Vishwadeva. Very important. When you do all the Shraddha, the witness is Vishwadeva. He is because he's son of Yama, and also he is the Margadarshi. He is the one who is going to be reporting how nicely you are worshipping your ancestors. Aprajanstan Prachakshate. He had no children, okay? Vishwadeva had no children. Sadhya was another wife. Ganaha Sadhyaya Arthasiddhistu Tatsutaha. Gana was one son, and then Arthasiddhi was the other son. Arthasiddhi, okay, nice names. Arthasiddhi. Marutvaamscha Jayantascha Marutvatyam Babhu Apuhu. Jayanto Vasudevamsha Upendra Itiyam Viduhu. Then we saw another wife's name was Marutwati for Yamadvarma Raja. Marutwati. She had two sons, Marutwan and Jayanta. Jayanta is supposed to be of similar quality of like Vasudeva. He was also called by the name Upendra. Mauhurtika Devagana Muhurtayascha Jagnire Yevai Palam Prayachanti Bhutanam Swasva Kalajam. Muhurta, we saw one of the wife's names. She gave birth to the son Mahurtika. And Mahurtika means what? The Devata for all the Muhurtas. You know, Muhurta is that 48 minutes or a window or something, yeah, hour and a half or 48 minutes. In which that is hour and a half is Lagna. I think Muhurta is 48 minutes within that Lagna. And that Muhurta is when Karya Siddhi happens. So you perform everything according to Muhurta and all that. Yevai Palam Prayachanti. Your Phala responsibility is the responsibility of this Mahurtika is or her responsibility. So that is why we choose a Muhurta for accomplishing big tasks. And don't look for Muhurta for small tasks. For small tasks, what is that saying in Sanskrit for small tasks? Shubhasya Sigram. The more quickly you do, the more it is Shubha. That is a Muhurta. Doing it, not postponing and doing it right away means that right away moment is the Muhurta. For the everyday tasks, Sankalpayascha Sankalpaha Kamas Sankalpaja Smrutaha Vasavoštau Vasoh Putraha Tesham Namani Me Shrunu. Sankalpa was one of the wives, and she gave birth to a son called Sankalpaha, and Sankalpa gave birth to Kama. Okay, so now you know the sequence. First, you have the Sankalpa in your mind. I want. And or you have a daydreaming, how nice it would be if only like that you daydream. And then out of the Sankalpa is born Kama, the desire, what all I need to fulfill this Sankalpa. I need that, I need this and all that. So nicely, there is some inner meaning also within these names. Vasavaha Ashtau Vasoho Putraha. Vasu was one of the wife's name. She gave birth to eight Vasus. And it is good to name the names of the Vasus. Kante Vasavastishtantu is we say in my Kanta. Let all the Vasu remain. So may my Kanta be blessed by the Vasus. So my communication, everything is bringing the desired effect. All right. So names of the Vasus, 8 Vasus, okay? Dronaha, Pranaha, Dhruvaha, Arkaha, Agnihi, Dosha, Agni Doshaha, Vasuhu, Vibha Vasuhu, okay? So now let us look at the names in detail. I mean, what they are up to. Dronasya bhimate patnyaha harshashoka bhayadayah. Drona had a wife by name Abhimati. Drona. See, this Drona name is different from the Mahabharata Drona, okay? So Mahabharata Drona was named after for some other reason. Different name here, but matching names. What are the sons of Drona and Abhimati? Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya. So when there is so much of your yourself being centered on your body, mind, senses, then you are a yo-yo between Harsha, excitement, Shoka, dejection, sadness, and then fear, Bhaya. So this is how they become the children of Abhimati. Pranasyo Jaswati Bharya Sah Ayuh Prayojavah Dhruvasya Bharya Dharanihi Asuta Vividha Purah. So Prana is the next Vasu. And Urjaswati is his wife. Nice name, Urjaswati. Urjam is energy, filled with energy. They had three children, Saha, Ayuhu, and Purojavaha. And the next Vasu is Dhruvaha. His wife is Dharanihi. And they had children who were the Devatas for cities. See? In our religion, we have Devatas for cities, Devatas for villages. Arkasya vasana bharya putras tarushadaya smrutaha. Arka is the next Vasu and his wife was Vasana, and Tarkshadi Putras names were there. Agner Bharya Vasoho Vasordhara. Vasordhara, the Dhara Patra. Agni's wife is that Vasordhara. And the sons are Dravinakadaya, all the Dravina, all that is required, all that is going into coming out of the Homa, going in and coming out. Those are all the sons of Agni with Vasordhara. Skandascha Kritika Putraha Yo Vishakhaadayastatah Doshasya Sharvari Putraha Sishumaru Hare Kala. Do you all know Skanda? So Kritika's son is Skanda. And was it one of the Vasus? Let us go back and look. All right. Dronaha, Arkaha, Agni Dosha, Vasuhu, Vibhavasu. Okay. So let us see why suddenly we are talking. Kritika Putra Skanda bhi Agni se hi utpan. That is why. Agni Putra is Skanda. Skanda is the Agni Putra with Agni with Kritika. Because we know from the Shiva's third eye, it was Agni which came out. And Kritika's combination, Kritika Kumaryas and Kartika Kumari, and Skanda was born. Muruga, Subramanyam Vaswami was born. This one. So you can look at it, so much of these names are bringing in so many devatas we know. And Subramania's Skanda's child is called Vishaka and others. Vishaka. There's a nakshatra called Vishaka. Doshasya Sharvari Putraha Shishumaru Hare Kala. Then the next Vasu is Dosha and married to Sharvari. And Shishumara is the name of the son. Shishumara was having the Kala, having the aspects or qualities of Sakshat Hari Narayana. वसोरंगिरससि वसोरंगिरसि पुत्रः विश्वकर्मा कृतिपतिः. Then another name, Vasu's name was Vasu. Angirasi Putra, married to Angirasi. And the son of them was Vishwakarma, the divine or the celestial architect who can imagine and then create Swarga, world and all. The architect. We need a divine architect also. So here in Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, we are building new blocks. Architects are all involved. So it's all Vishwakarma's intelligence. By the way, I want to tell you also, this weekend Bhagavad Gita class, I'm not giving. I'm actually traveling. So they'll be playing recording of Swami Tattvadanji. And I know I remember telling last week that I will be giving this session. So just for your information, there's a change. I'm not giving this weekend class. Weekend class by Swami Tattvadanji recording. They're going to play some recording of Swamiji. And I'm going to be traveling actually. All right. So because I told many of you that if you're nearby to consider coming and all that, but we can come still, but you won't be able to meet me. That's all I want to say. Okay. विभावसोरसूतोषा व्युष्टं रोजिषमाततं मातपम् पञ्चयामोत भूतानि येन जाग्रति कर्मसु. Okay, so let us see. Vishwakarma Kritipatihi Tato Manuhu. So Kritipatihi. Kriti was the wife and Manu was the another son. Chakshashaha Abhut Vishwe. Vishwe Sadhyaha Manosutha. Let us see what the 15th one says. Okay, Vishwakarma's wife was Kriti. And from there, Manu was born. Chakshusha Manvantara or unke putra Vishve Deva evam Sadhya Gana. He had sons, Manu's sons. Chakshusha Manvantara, Manu's sons were Vishve Deva and Sadhya. Sadhya Devata. Sadhya Shraddha Samrakshaka Devatas. विभावसो रसूतोषा अभीष्टं रोचिषमातपम् पञ्चयामोत भूतानि येन जाग्रति कर्मसु. विभावसोः asutosha. Son's name Asutosha, Vishtam. So three sons, Vishtam, Rochisham, and Atapam. So Vibhavaso was one of the Vasus, and along with Asutosha wife, he could give birth to three sons, and Panchayamo Bhutani Yena Jagrati Karmasu. Because of these children, Atapam especially, okay, our day is all made. So Atapa is a devata who is the devata for the day. We know Surya Bhagavan is devata for the day, but Atapa is a devata for the tasks of the day, for the accomplishment. So even if we have so much of nice distribution of responsibilities and duties, checks and balances, and in such a way that you keep bringing all these devatas and they will all click in unison with everybody, or even if your stars are such that your horoscope is such that at this time you have going through tough time with respect to say one graha, say Surya graha, then you can pray Atapa, who is the devata within the daytime to fulfill your karmas. So likewise, there's so much of hope, so much of scope for praying and getting blessings. It is like, you have specialities in medical field. The family physician takes some tests and says, hey, this is beyond my capacity, you have to go to a specialist, and sends you to a, say, sends not you, somebody to a lung specialist. And the lung specialist says, I think this is something to do with the heart. I'm sorry, I cannot help you. Go to a heart specialist. The heart specialist says this is something to do with a certain valve, and go to a electrocardio specialist. Okay, whatever that. Pacemaker and all that. So, there is no letdown of hope. You keep the one person gives up, another person takes over because of the specialities available. Likewise, our Devata is also like that, covering everything. All right. Look at the way we have to look at this Devata Vijnana, the art and science of Devata's recognition, presence, and worship. Sarupa Suta Bhutasya Bharya Rudranscha Kotishah Raura Rauratojo Bhavo Bhimah Vama Ugro Vrusha Kapihi Sarupa Suta Bhutasya. So now we are going to the next set of daughters who were married to Bhuta, the rishi called Bhuta. Sarupa was the wife, and they gave birth to a lot of Rudra, Kotishaha, crores of Rudra. Rauravota, Ajaha. Some of the famous Rudras are Raurava, Aja, Bhava, Bhima, Vama, Ugra, Vrisha, Kapi, Vrisha Kapi. Then Ajay Kapada Hir Budnya Bahurupo Mahaniti Rudrasya Parshadaschanye Ghora Bhuta Vinayakaha. Other Rudras were Ajay Kapat, Ahir Budni, Bahurupa. So the second wife of Bhuta was Bhuta. So two wives he had because Daksha gave in marriage two daughters. So one wife, we saw the Rudra's mother, and then the other wife's name was Bhuta. Bhuta is the rishi's name. Bhuta was his second wife's name. And they gave birth to so many other Rudra-like deities, and they were all Ghora, Rudrasya Parshada, Shanye, Ghora, Bhuta Vinayakaha. They were all like the Gana, the retinue, or the army of Rudra. They became the army of Rudra. Bhuta Vinayakaha means what? The Rudra Gana, Rudra Bhuta Ganas. And Vinayaka means not just Ganesha. Vinayaka is the name of another group of Bhutas, and they are called Vinayaka. They were all with the Rudras. प्रजापतेरंगिरसः स्वधा पत्नी पितृनथ अतर्वांगिरसंवेदं पुत्रत्वे चाकरोत्सती. Angirasah Swadha Patni Pithrunatha. Angirasa was the next rishi. His wife is Swadha, and she gave birth to all the sons who were the devatas of the Pitruloka. Atarvangira Samvedam Putratvecha Karot Sati. He was also married to another wife of her name was Sati, daughter of Daksha, and this Sati she gave birth to Atharvangrasa Veda. She gave birth to the Veda itself. Two more shlokas. Appreciative patience. A lot of nice names, right? Then Kushashvor Chishi Bharyayam Dhumrakesha Maji Janate. Kushashva was the next rishi. Archishi was one of the wives. Dhumrakesham was one of the sons' name. Deshnayam Vedashiraha Devalam Vayanam Manum. So with another wife, he gave birth to Devalam, Vedashira, Devalam, Vayuna, or Manu and Manu. These were the sons. Now, the very interesting section, and two more slokas. Tarkshyasya vinatha kadruhu patangi yaminiti cha patangyasuta patagan yamini shalabhanatha. So, Kashyapa by the name Tarkshya, he had wives whose names were Vinata, Kadru, Patangi, Yamini, four wives. So we saw that four. So we are coming to the last four. 56 wives we have completed. Last four daughters we are talking about. And Patangya Sutha. Patangi gave birth to all the birds. Don't you need birds in the creation? You don't think like that. It doesn't come to your mind. But Daksha had all that vision. We need birds also. Yamini was the other wife. She gave birth to all the insects. Don't you need them? You don't want them anywhere near you, but they are there in the soil doing so much of job for us. Patangyasuta patagan Yamini shalabhanata. We saw that. Suparnasuta Garudam. Have you heard of the Garuda? The vehicle of who? Vehicle of Sakshat Mahavishnu. Sakshat Yajnesha Vahanam. I said Sakshat, and that is also in the sloka. Sakshat Yajnesha Vahanam. Surya Suta Manu Rumcha Kadrur Nagana Nikashaha. So we are looking at the sons of Vinata. Vinata is one wife of Kashyapa, and her son was the most famous Garuda. Right? The vehicle of Mahavishnu. And then she also had another son called Aruna, who was slightly deformed in his body, who became the charioteer of Sakshat Surya Bhagavan. Surya Bhagavan has a chariot. And who drives the chariot? It is Aruna. Then Kadru is the final last wife of Tarkshya, Kashyapa. Kashyapa's one more name is Tarkshya. And she gave birth to all the reptiles. Okay, you need reptiles also, and mainly snakes. They were all created by Kadru. So I appreciate your patience. This is 22nd shloka. I will stop here. 23rd shloka onwards we'll take up next week. So this is where I would like to stop the Bhagavatam, and I would like to talk a little bit about Krishna Leela. Let me stop here the display screen. So Krishna Leela, we know that we've been seeing how Bhagavan has mud in his mouth, and mom is going to be asking him to open his mouth, right? And she's going to see something which she never expected, never imagined even. So now why Bhagavan has to show the Vishwarupa to Mother Yashoda in the mouth? Why not show the Vishwarupa like he did for Arjuna? He wanted to do that because he wanted to show to Mother, you are Yashoda. And in your last birth, you were Dharani, the earth. You were the Dhara. And then you wanted my protection. So we are all born here. You as Yashoda, me as Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Bala Mukunda Krishna. So this is what my job is to protect the earth. So I took a little bit of that, put in my mouth. Bhagavan is not saying all this. The scholars are putting words into the scene, what is happening there. So your devotion is enriched. So your vision of Ishvara's presence is expanded, so that your appreciation of Ishvara over and above your own problems is accomplished. So now, Bhagavan, this is the earth I want to protect. If you think that I'm eating earth, look at my mouth. I'm actually here to protect the world. Then this earth is just a sample I want to show you. Okay. Now, Bhagavan is showing the Vishwarupa twice to Mother Yashoda. Did you know that? To Arjuna only once. And even that was so scary for Arjuna. Bhagavan said, he won't stand a chance if I show him the Vishwarupa again. But for Mother, he has to do it twice. The first time he showed was when he was just yawning, that we covered long back. He was just yawning. The second time he's showing. Why two times to Mother? See, the mothers are like that. Even if Bhagavan comes, they will make them a human too, human for them. That is out of their love, right? They make a Vyakti out of Ishvara. Vyakti means a being, an individual out of Ishvara Bhagavan. That is a mother's power, nature like that. So she has to be always shown twice until she understands, until she realizes that who she's dealing with is no ordinary being. At the same time, as the story goes, he makes her forget also later. That is coming later. So there's no point in there's no tatparya. There's no reason why only once it should be done. Until you understand, until you appreciate, the Shastra has to kept. You have to keep hearing the Shastra again and again. So mother has to be shown again and again like that. That this is something more than what her eyes meet. That is also the reason for why he's doing twice Vishwarupa. And then there are other reasons also. What happened to mother after that? So, see, mother, as I said, she was shocked and stunned and all that, but she never gave up her motherliness. She immediately thought of how to protect his Lord Krishna, how to protect this baby Bala Mukunda Krishna from what is going on and all that like that. So that we'll see when we come back next week. See, slowly and steadily we are progressing. There is so much we have been discussing around this Leela, even without getting to the point where the mom is going to see the Vishwarupa and then what is going to happen to her and all that, right? So we'll see that when we meet next week. And each time I may be repeating a few things, but I'm also adding something new to that same Leela. And we are continuing. We are making slow and steady progress in the Leela also. We have all the time, right, to spend our time meaningfully on such discussions and Shravana, listening to Bhagavan's Leelas in this way also. So with this, I'll stop and then Vidil can continue with our prayers. And I appreciate you all joining today. And we'll see you online next week. Hari Om.